a lamb, a chicken, not starch, chicken substitute, things like that that aren't going to be healthy for your dog. Now I'm going to get into puppy training, and at the very end I'm going to show you a couple of demos that I use whenever I was training Bentley. But what I first want you to remember is you're going to be training yourself first, and you're going to have to do that because you need to set the rules and set the boundaries, and you need to stick to them. Otherwise, that puppy's going to run the show. If you don't want him on your furniture, if you don't want him sitting in your lap when you're riding in the car, you can't have your puppy doing that stuff when you first bring him home because he's going to think that's okay, and he's going to think he was trained to do that way. For example, Bentley is not allowed on the furniture at my house. It's too much to deal with his coat, his shedding. It's too much to keep clean and to worry about. So whenever he got on the furniture when he was little, I would simply say no, scoop him off of the furniture. But then I got him his own bed, his own beanbag. This is where he can stay. So that way it's not, no, you can't do this, and you just have to stay away from us completely. You can't be on the couch, but you can be on your own little furniture, or you can be on this rug on the carpet. And that way he feels like he has his own space and isn't completely secluded. Another important thing is to remember not to blame your puppy. He is just a puppy. It's like a baby, and they don't know any better whenever you're first bringing him home. You can't blame them for chewing on the furniture, chewing on your shoes whenever his toys are laying on the floor, and also are your shoes. You just need to reinforce no, and you give him a toy that he can chew on so that he knows that he's not doing everything wrong. The third thing is you're going to want to learn about your puppy first before bringing him home. What is his personality type? What kind of breed, what kind of toys do those breed like to do? How much exercise do they need to keep them settled down at home? If you learn those things before you bring your puppy home, you're going to have so much more success, and it's going to be so much more fun training your puppy and seeing him learn as quickly as possible and respect you and be loyal to you. And it's really important that you remember these three key things: to train yourself, not to put the blame on your puppy, because honestly you need to be putting the blame on yourself and what you've been teaching the puppy, and to learn about your puppy before you bring him home. These are some important commands that I think every puppy should know, and it's just basic puppy etiquette. I'm going to start off first with the puppy name. He's really not going to be able to learn his name until the first 2.5, 3 months into you training him. And my example that I like to use with Bentley is that at the beginning I made the mistake of associating Bentley with negative connotations. If he was doing something bad, it was Bentley, or he associated his name with getting in trouble. So I want to suggest whenever you're training your puppy that you say, for example, if he's doing something good, you say, good boy, whatever your pet's name is. So I would say, good boy, Bentley, like, good boy, that's a good boy, chew on your toy. Things like that, so he knows that he's doing the right thing with his name. Wait is an important command because you don't want your puppy running out into the middle of the street when you open the door, running to jump on strangers when they're walking in your door, or jumping on you whenever you're bringing groceries in the front door. It's important that he knows to wait, and he waits until you say it's okay. I also think it's really important to teach your dog to wait whenever they're getting food or drink out of their bowl. For example, when I was training Bentley, I would fill up his food and water on the counter. Then I would set it down and I would hold him back until he learned that he needed to wait until I said it was okay to take that food. Otherwise, when he gets bigger, I'm going to be dealing with him jumping all over me, the food falling over. You know, who knows what he'll be getting into whenever he gets to be that 70 or 80 pound dog he's supposed to be. So I think it's important that he learns how to wait until you say, okay, take it. Sit is obviously a basic command that every puppy should know. They should be able to sit when you tell them to, so that way they're not just annoying the people around you if you have company. If you need them to sit while you're having something else that you concentrate and are focusing on, they need to know it's time to sit, it's time to not bother anyone, and just have a little bit of peaceful, mellow downtime. That goes along with downers. They should know that they don't need to be jumping on people. It's going to vary from person to person whether you want them jumping on you, but it is proper and it is important that they know they're not jumping on every person that walks through the door. Stay can be interchangeable with wait, so you can pick which word you're going to use. Off is another important thing. I think it's important for me that he knows he's not going to be in the furniture unless I say it's okay. He's going to get off of people. When I say off, it means no. And he knows that that's an important command that he needs to follow me because I'm telling him not to do something. No is another big one. It's something that you shouldn't just be telling your puppy no, 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 because I think it's important that you're teaching them, yes, you can do this, good boy, you can do this. They do need to know when you say no, you're sticking to your guns and you're not letting your puppy run the show, because there are going to be times when you bring him home and he's so cute and he's so adorable, and it might seem cute that he's chewing on your shoes and got into things then, but when he gets bigger and is chewing up everything, it's not going to be so cute. So they need to learn what no is and what those things are in the very beginning. So I've gone through some of the training tips that I've gone through some of those throughout the presentation, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a demo after this when we go outside, and just a couple of tips that I've learned and things that you need to think about. For example, sit. When teaching Bentley to sit, I would take a treat and I would say sit, and I would just keep lifting the treat up, and he would just look up till he fell back on his little bottom. And then he associates that word sit with him getting a treat and sitting down, and that's how he learned. It's also helpful because then he learns the motion of sit, and you can do those things without having to tell him. Bentley, at only 4 months, knows this means sit because that's how I trained him. Waiting for food, I went through that. I just think it's really important because it helps them train wait, and you can do that with treats, you can do that with their food and water. They need to know that when you say it's okay to go, that's when to go, for the puppy's safety, just for the safety of other people, and just so that it doesn't, he's not always so hyper and he can be mellow and just wait. I gave you some housebreaking tips, and another thing I think is important to remember is you don't want to just completely scold your puppy, but he needs to know that it's wrong. For me, Bentley, I could stick his nose in it and he would go outside, and that's when he knew that that's where he needed to be going to the bathroom. But I had to be catching him in the act, because if you don't catch your puppy in the act, he's going to forget about it and he's not going to understand why he's getting in trouble. So if you do catch your puppy in the act, you can maybe give him a little spanking, say no, you drag him outside. But if you don't, you have to clean it up, spray that carpet cleaner on there so he knows that that's not okay, even though he didn't get in trouble. That's not okay, he won't smell it, and that way you can keep watching him, so that way he knows where he can and cannot go to the bathroom. And eventually when he sees where the door is, he sees where the outside is, he'll be going to sit by the door, and it'll make it training a lot easier. I have a friend that even put a bell on the door and trained her dog. Every time he would look at the bell, she would say, good boy. Every time he touched it, she would say, good boy, and take him outside. So that way he got the feeling of, he rang the bell, he got to go outside, and it takes a month, and it takes a couple months, and it may take some time, but in the end it's worth it to train your puppy now instead of letting him get reckless and just be crazy as he gets older. So right now I'm just going to go through and make sure that you guys picked up all of these handouts and got the main points. I know you have notes and you wrote down maybe some questions that you have for me. For your questionnaire, it's just going to be a couple of basic questions like your leisure activities. Do you have other pets? Do you have children under 18? Do you have a yard? What size dog are you looking for? And another important thing that people forget is, do you want a dog? Do you want a dog, or do you have time for a dog that's going to need grooming, exercise, attention? Things like that people don't consider, that in filling out this questionnaire, I really can help you to find a breed that's right for your home, right for your family. If you have children, if you're a single adult looking for a companion, things like that are going to help me help you find the right puppy for your home, an easily trainable dog, so that way we can figure out if you have time for a dog, what kind of dog is going to fit into your schedule, and what kind of dog is going to fit into your expenses. So this is my contact information, and you can fill this out and email it to me. You can call me with your answers, or you can write down my address and mail it to me, and I will fill it out. And if you can just put your contact information on the bottom, then I will mail it back to you. I'll call you and get you the results as soon as possible. So I just really want you guys to remember to consider your lifestyle. The place den, even though you can go into further in the North Texas region, the initial supplies you're going to need, and just the puppy basics and essentials whenever you're going to be teaching your puppy everything that you want him to learn and carry on with him as he gets older. So let's go ahead and go outside and I'll teach you guys some of the tricks I've learned.